Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another week of the Drunken Under Quarantine show presented by Woolen Comedy Club. And we are on episode 25 this week. Gonna be fun. We're gonna talk with GW. Colin unfortunately couldn't make it, and our special guest this week is Pierre Vachon. It's been another wild week. We got a lot to talk about. We're gonna get right into it. First, we're gonna introduce Mr. GW Foley and see how he has been. G-Dubs, how's your week?
Hey, man, my week has been interesting. Let me see where to start. I realized that I hate writing papers. I didn't think in college I would be writing so many fucking papers. I don't know why. Like from every single movie that I saw, that's like the only thing that like they do is write papers. And I'm like, oh no, that's just movie magic, man. No, it's true. Like I write up to like 6 papers a week now, and it's frustrating because like they start blending together after a while, where it's just like, and there was this boy who did this stuff, and all of a sudden this dog came out. And the dog barked. It's like it's supposed to be a paper on mathematics. I don't get it. Like it's weird. I did have a weird thought. Holy shit, that's bright. Let me turn my light back. I was like, oh, I'm getting kind of shadows. I should make myself brighter. And no, I'm not gonna do that. Not to you, fine people. I'm gonna leave it the way it is. Because you people are everything to me. Yeah. My family relationships, no, they mean nothing. It's internet approval. That's where the real money is. No, I had a thought. Like, what happens? Like, what would it be cool if like farts produced color? like just the like and they could change color like depending on what you ate. Like say you had blueberries and all of a sudden like pink clouds started coming out of your ass. I don't know why they wouldn't be like purple, but fuck it, like your digestive tract does weird things. Like you ever eat Oreos, your poo turns black. I mean like I just think that'd be cool, and like you could never have to play like who smelt it dealt it, because you would know, because you would see like the fumes coming out of their asshole. Like, and they're like, oh, but wouldn't like cloth and like pants like cover it? No, it wouldn't, because you could still smell it. So wherever there's a smell, you would still see the cloud, and it like you could communicate that way, and like just like eat a whole bunch of Cheetos and like just start like farting like cloud signals out. Yeah, they don't have to smell anymore. They could actually smell like the actual food. Like I think that would be incredible. Like have some jalapeno poppers and be like, "Ooh, who's eating Mexican? This is tasty up in here." Yeah, my thought. I had that thought. Like I was helping somebody move this weekend, and first off, it doesn't matter what type of season it is. Helping somebody move sucks. Like this past weekend was like mild weather, and I was still sweating my ball. Like I still hurt, and I did it yesterday. Like maybe it's also the fact that I'm out of shape, but that's besides the point. Like I hate dealing with other people's shit. I am throwing out like a dozen bags of trash. Like I don't even know what. Like I was just picking things up and like, this doesn't look good. Who cares? Who needs a manual to a dishwasher? Throw that shit out. Like fucking burn it. That's and it sucks because like you never really know what to do with someone else's shit. Like you pick it up and you're like, hey, do you want to keep this? No, it was like a bad episode of Hoarders. like, oh, hey, this has mildew on it. Do you still, oh, you want this? You got like 5 others right here. And like, I can just imagine like having other people like help me move with shit, because I got, dude, the comic book collection alone is fucking obnoxious. Like I look at them like, oh, that's an eyesore. Like I can just picture someone else being like, why do you need these kitty magazines? Let's just throw them out. Like, no, they're worth money, man. You can't just throw them out because they're worth money. I had another thought. Shit, what was it? I should really start writing things down. I fuck. I just had it again and then I lost it. I also hate driving other people's vehicles. Not just because like the idea of like accidentally crashing them on purpose. That that's definitely my biggest fear is like, oh, I'm driving along, like, hey, there's a guardrail. Let's just see what happens if I move slowly, quickly. Or like, oh, hey, there's a big rock. Let's see if this 4-wheel drive actually works. I don't know. That's been my week. Let's turn it back over to Hickory, and let's see some magical feats of magic.
Oh, thank you, G-Dubs. This should be a good week. Working on improving the audio and video quality. We'll see how it went. See what you guys think.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. For Hickory the Drunk and Underwhelming here, and tonight I am going to show you a small feat of magic. But first things first, I'm going to use my magic wand. Open myself a beverage. I've been working hard lately and getting thirsty. I'm going to show you guys something cool. Something that can be done with a simple bottle cap. Hickory the Drunk and Underwhelming is pretty familiar with bottle caps. Been popping tops for many years, ever since I was a young magician. So first I'll show you something really cool that we can do with these. Now, I've always thought, you know what would be really cool is bigger beers. Unfortunately, I'm not quite there yet. We're working on it, believe me. I'd love to be able to take a 12-ounce bottle and transform that fucker into a 32. That would be awesome. Somewhere. So what I've done is I've started with the bottle cap. Now, if I just take this cap and work it real nice like that.
Oh, wow.
What happens is I get a nice big bottle cap. And it's pretty cool. And I'll show you something else we can do with these. What we do is take one of these. And normally I would have a spectator give me a name. But since I'm at home alone drinking with my cat, what I'm going to use is Pierre's initials. What I'll do is put Pierre's name right there. And I will set that bottle cap right there. Pull another bottle cap out of my pocket. And with a tap here, much like magic, Pierre's name or initials have vanished from this cap. Magically appeared on this one.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
So we'll set that to the side. I'll show you the next little cool thing these can do is if you focus just right, and this is going to be really sweet once I figure out the beer thing, because I get multiple beers. The show budget wouldn't have to go all to beer. It's kind of cool. And then what we'll do is we'll do that one more time. And finally, one last time. Now we've got 4. Well, 5 with Pierre's name over here, but we won't, we're going to pretend that doesn't exist. I'll show you something cool. Now, these are actually what we like to call UFOs. And Hickory is never one, he's no Tom DeLonge. I've never claimed to know a lot about aliens. And they have a great affinity, much like Hickory the Drunk and Underwhelming, for butt stuff. So I'd do something cool, and this is something I like to call the UFO transport. What happens is if you were to kind of cover them, move like that.
Holy shit.
Wow.
Freaking neat, right? Thank you guys very much. I'm Hickory, the Drunk and Underwhelming. Thanks for being on the show, Pierre. We'll see you guys next week.
Oh, thank you guys. I hope you enjoyed that. That's a fun little bit. So, keeping the show on the road, I will turn it over to our very special guest this week. He's here. He's back, and we're very excited to have him. He was our second guest ever, but if you guys go back in the history books, GW was our first guest ever, and on episode 5, he joined the crew full time. So for episode 25, we figured it would be great to technically have our first guest back on the show. So please welcome back to the spotlight stage, Mr. Pierre Vachon.
Hey, what's up, guys? Thank you for having me back. Hey, I'm the spotlighted video for everybody. Woo-hoo! Hey, if you look closely, you can see my tuxedo tails back there behind me. True story. I forgot my jacket in my car, and it was cold out, and I went out with my friend, came over and visited, and we were smoking a cigarette outside, and I didn't have a coat, and I had a beer in my hand, and I went and grabbed tuxedo tails out of my bedroom and put them on. So I was the trashiest, most fancy guy you've ever seen. I had tuxedo tails on with like just regular jeans on with a twisted tee and a joint, standing outside of my house, with a Golden Girls Ramones t-shirt on. It's the Golden Girls like superimposed on the Ramones bodies, and it just says Golden. And so I had that on with tuxedo tails, a twisted tee, and a joint, and jeans on. So I was the classiest guy in town, let me tell you. Ladies were lining up. But speaking of that, I had a weird thing happen this week, and it's happened once before, but this one was really strange. Apparently, there is somebody in my neighborhood, in my vicinity, that is doing late night Tinder dates. And what's happening is these women are getting my address as the address for him. So it happened once before, and I'll go back to that story to tell this story because I've taken a new approach. The first time, it was like 11:30 at night, and the girl knocked on the door, and I walked up, and so anyone who doesn't know this about me, I talk about a lot on my show. I walk around my house naked. You're lucky I put clothes on for this. I'm actually pantsless I'm just wearing a shirt. You're welcome, ladies, whoever's watching, or men, whatever. Whoever, if this is going to get click likes, whatever, I'm pantsless right now while we're doing the show. So I'm usually in my house naked if it's nighttime and I'm just hanging out. And I was sitting here at 11:30, boom, 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 knock, knock, knock. And I'm like, okay. And I open the door, and there is a woman standing there. And there I am, completely naked, feeling like it's a Chris Hansen episode of To Catch a Predator. She looked like 18 or 17, and there I am, just things flopping in the wind. And I'm like, yeah? And she stares at me, and she goes, "You're not Brad." And I said, "You're right. I'm Pierre." But I didn't even close the door. I just didn't care at this point. I had enough to drink that I was like, whatever. And she's staring at me, and she's like, "Is this some kind of joke? You're not Brad." I'm like, "Yeah, we've established I'm not Brad. This isn't a joke." She's like, "Well, is he like messing with me? Is he in there?" I'm like, "No, I don't have anyone chained up in my house named Brad. There's nobody here." And she was like adamant. She's like, "Well, I have his address right here." And she brings up her GPS, like holding the phone in front of me. And it brings it to my house, but the number is weird. Like it wasn't even the right like street. I was like, "I don't know why it's bringing you here. And this must have been an old address, but it's not here. You're not." She's like, "Well, are you just catfishing me?" I'm like, "First of all, if I was catfishing, I would not open with me being naked up front. That's not the best way to catfish, especially if I was some dude." And she was like, "Well, he has long blonde hair and he's thinner and he's muscular. I'm like, yeah, that would be the worst catfish I could possibly do. If anything, I would get a cardboard cutout of that freaking guy and put him in the front window so you thought it was him, and then come in and go, surprise! And, that would be a catfish that would work. Literally, my naked fat ass answering the door is not a catfish. I was like, I'm just letting it out too easy. And so she calls the dude on the phone, and he goes, oh yeah, that happens a lot. I'm blah blah blah, and gives directions, and she leaves. So that was the first time, and that was months and months ago, and I haven't had another one since, until the other night. It was my birthday on Tuesday, and so the night before, Monday night, I was just hanging out, and all of a sudden, like, I think it was midnight. So first of all, whoever this dude is, he's doing late night booty call Tinder dates. Like, he's swiping right at a certain time and finding whoever's on at that moment. It's the equivalent of going to the bar and finding who's left at closing time. It's essentially what he's doing. It's like, who's on at midnight on Tinder who's just looking for something. So I'm sure what he does is the shotgun version. He just takes Tinder and just swipes right on everybody, whoever's up, and then hopes something pops up and goes, well, they're breathing and they're close. So they'll do. So I literally, I was naked. I was having a beer. Door, bap, 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 bap. I walk over, and if you're a friend of mine, or if you're somebody who wants to come visit me, call first, because I will just answer the door naked. I don't give a shit who you are. Delivery drivers now, it's like horrible porn for them. It's like the porn they don't want to be a part of. You know, like when they come to the door, it's like that fantasy of, oh, the hot woman. No, it's a 300-pound Sasquatch with a dick hanging out, saying hi. That's what they get. It's like Norm from Cheers answered the door and was like, hey. So a girl gets to the door, boom, opens the door. I'm like, all right. I said, yeah. She goes, where's Brad? And I said, not here. And I said, wait. And I said, he might be here. And she was like, what? And I said, hold on. And so I turned around so she could see my hairy ass, and I walked, and I was like, you wait right here. And I got into the other room just behind the door so she couldn't hear me. And I just started yelling, oh yeah, your Tinder hookup's here. She's pretty ugly. Do you want me to tell her you don't live here? And I hear her going, what the, you know, she's screaming in the other room, like angry at the door. And I go, yeah, I'll go out and tell her. And I'm trying to make it sound like I'm trying to be quiet, but I'm projecting enough that she can hear it. So I'm like, yeah, I'll go tell her you live somewhere else. All right. And I come back around the corner. I'm like, no, there's no Brad here. He lives down the street. And she's like, well, I just heard you. And she starts like going off. She's like, is this some kind of sick joke? I'm like, yeah, actually, it's a really sick joke because you're talking to a naked fat guy when you could be getting laid. But instead you're here. So here we all are. Life is a joke. And she's like, well, I'm going to call him right now. And I said, okay, go ahead and call him. She calls and he goes, are you in there with this fat guy who's naked? And I hear him go, what? And hang up. I somehow simultaneously ruined two people's Tinder date in one night. I double shotted it. And so that's how, Brad, if you're around the area and you listen to any of these shows or tune in, if you haven't been getting many Tinder dates in the next few weeks, it's because I'm fucking with them here so that they go away. Because your choice in Tinder dates are not who I would choose. So it's almost like swiping right and left live. I'm essentially swiping left live on them. They show up, I'm like, oh, no, I'm going to make up something to piss them off. So that has pretty much been my week. So there you have it. That's where we are at. On. Yeah. What's that?
Oh, so thank you for being here.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Oh, yeah, I'm so psyched. So thank you for having me, guys. I am psyched to be here. Talk about whatever else we're going to talk about.
Well, first off, a big happy belated birthday to you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Happy birthday, Pierre Vachon. Happy birthday, Pierre Vachon.
Oh, God.
Oh, happy birthday, you sexy beast.
Oh, God.
Happy birthday, Pierre Vachon.
Oh, God, it's getting hot in here. Woo!
Yes.
Oh, thank God you only see from the waist up in my camera, if you know what I mean. Woo!
I also wanted to respond to your set. I think that mood farts are a great idea, GW.
Yes.
Like if they
Yeah,
change color based on your mood.
Yeah,
Oh,
like
yeah.
mood rings, like the old mood rings.
Yeah,
Like-
you'd like, you blast a big like red, deep red, and you're just like, oh, that guy's pissed.
Yeah, black. Oh, GW's sad today. It's like a big black fart that comes out. Oh, GW's lonely.
It's blue.
That'd be amazing. No, but the smell for part would be the issue. Like it'd be even better if the smells changed with whatever the mood was.
Oh yeah. If it's happy, it has a nice sweet note to it.
Yeah, it's like,
and,
oh, this is.
And if you're sad, it has like a nice like hint of rosemary.
Yeah, just like just accent farts is what it is. It's accent farts is what we're talking about. I like that. I'm down. Let's make this happen.
Yeah, we got to come up with the drug that makes this work.
Pill. Yeah, the pill that makes this work.
So yeah, we'll move right along. First topic we're going to talk about tonight is I'm sure you guys saw, but Johnny Rotten, the lead singer, I think his name's John LaDon is like his real name.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, everybody knows him as Johnny Rotten. He's the lead singer of the Sex Pistols, who were one of the originators of the punk movement back in the 70s over in the UK. Has come out as a full-on Trump supporter. Johnny Rotten's gone full MAGA. And I thought this was pretty funny, but also I kind of see why, and I figured I'd want to get your guys' opinions. Pierre, what do you think about this?
So I like the term full MAGA, like he's gone super Saiyan, like we're giving him like it's now like a weird like anime thing. Like, oh no, he's gone full MAGA. I just wait for his eyes to change and get really big and him just go, oh, and explode. That's what I'm hoping for.
I think they used the term full MAGA because he had both the shirt and the hat.
I like that. That's also now a clothing thing that you go full MAGA if you wear the whole outfit. Now it's like the Canadian tuxedo. It's the same concept. Canadian tuxedo is all denim. When you wear an all denim outfit.
It's also like going full basic bitch, which is when you have the LL Bean boots and the poof hat and a Canada Goose jacket.
Yes. Yes. And you're carrying a White Claw. Yeah, that's how you. But I don't know. I could, in a weird way, as much as it surprises me, I can kind of see it. You know what there's a weird. I feel like a lot of the old punk guys now are becoming old codger Republicans. Like you see it more. Like that's a weird thing. Like not old school, but Michael Graves. Michael Graves became like a weird conservative right-wing guy. Same thing. It was like out of nowhere. It's like, you were in the freaking Misfits. Like, what are you? And then when he went solo, he started doing like these podcasts about right-wing conspiracy theories and all that shit. So I'm not surprised, but I'm also saddened at the same time.
That's a fair stance.
Yeah, I'm like, I just don't. It's like, oh, Johnny Rock. Oh, really? And Trump wouldn't even know what your music is. Like I feel like he listens to polka and Sinatra, and that's it. Like, and if he listens to rap, he doesn't understand it because he would probably do better if he listened to Wesley Willis. Look that up. I think that would be Trump. It would be great for Trump. Rock some Wesley. He should get. Well, Wesley Willis died, but he should totally get music from Wesley Willis for his campaign. I think that would be more his speed. Even Johnny Rotten's music, I'm like, you can't. I don't understand it. I don't know about you guys, but I just don't like. I'm just very confused by that, like where that came out. I didn't see the whole thing. I only heard like mentioning about it. But did he have like a big speech about it, or like was it
there was definitely a couple articles written on it, and I'm not sure where he published it, but I'm
okay.
I know that it was big. Before I weigh in on my 2 cents, G-Dubs, what do you think about it?
I think it's a giant troll.
It's very possible.
Here's the thing, like, if you look back at the Sex Pistols, which, by the way, fuck the Sex Pistols.
Yeah.
Like everything that they stand for, everything that, fuck them. Like, as a connoisseur of punk music,
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel you.
It's the type of thing where if you look back, like even like Johnny Rotten, or not Johnny Rotten, Sid Vicious wore a Nazi shirt Not because he was a Nazi or supported the Nazi party. He did it because he knew it pissed people off.
Yeah.
And same thing with Johnny Rotten. He knows for a fact that wearing MAGA things is like the punk rock thing to do because it pisses people off. Not because he actually believes in any of the shit. It's more of a fashion statement for him to wear shit like that than to actually care about principles.
I am gonna. Sorry, were you done?
Oh, I could rant about this for hours. So
okay, I'm gonna weigh in on my view on this, and I think you're partially right. I do think part of it's a troll, and that Johnny knows how to get under people's skin, but it also started kickstarting this thing in the back of my head where I realized that and the Sex Pistols were under a very liberal regime back when they started, and then that kind of changed, and the right became the mainstream culture for quite a while, and we had all the moral groundkeepers in the U.S. were Christian conservatives, and I think it's swung back the other way, and I think that to be anti-establishment is to be right-wing. I don't know. I'm not saying that's true for everybody, but I almost feel like being anti-establishment is, like conservatism is new punk rock.
I can see that.
Because it doesn't, punk rock isn't necessarily about, it's about a few values, but mostly being about being against the grain and being against the mainstream culture of the time. And there is a good argument to be made that the mainstream culture in the US right now, including media and Hollywood and Silicon Valley, is all left-leaning. And that, wow, I just got way too deep. I'm sorry, guys. But basically came away thinking conservatism might be the new punk rock. Just because it's like we were all raised in this time where the left controls a lot of our institutions.
I understand what you're saying, and I agree to some extent, and unfortunately, I want to say no, just because of the fact of I agree with the statements of the left wing has a major populace in the culture. The unfortunate thing is conservatives also have a major foothold in the culture. I mean, if you look at the House and the Senate, if you look at the presidency, those are all conservative moments. And yeah, they're more underground, but with the way that things are shooing now, if I'm not using the right word, but the way things are skewing. There we go.
There you go.
Yeah.
Conservatism is gaining speed, so I wouldn't really consider that like the counterculture.
Okay, that's fair.
I would consider more of like libertarianism, which has always been more of an anti-government stance anyways, more punk rock than conservatism.
Well, and also to tag on that, we're in a weird state now where things that were considered super conservative for a long time are now considered more liberal. You know what I mean? Like we've had some weird shifts in our things that would have been considered like a crazy right-wing thing, even 20 years ago are now considered more left, and vice versa. Like there's things that are weirdly interchanging with our left and right in the terms of politics, and that idealism is because there are things that would have made you a crazy conservative years ago that now make you kind of middle of the road. You know what I mean? Like they would have pushed. So there's this weird dynamic that's happening, and I think it's happening on both sides. I think that part of the problem is we don't really have a counterculture right now because we are so divided. I agree, GW. I think more the libertarian is more of the counterculture because it's more of the less involved with government, less involved with that. But it's weird. It's a weird time. Like there are so many people that are jumping on one side or the other. And I think that's happening more than it used to. And it's a pretty even split right now in our society. I think, and that's what's everybody's hyping up the media machine on both sides. You know what I mean? Like that the other side is gaining ground and becoming dangerous. And in reality, I think we're kind of split right down the middle right now. And I think it's easy to get one side to get an ire out of him. So I see what you're saying with him putting on the MAGA stuff would piss off a large group of people and also draw some people towards him that might not have ever paid attention to him, on a different level.
And ironically enough, it would piss off a lot of the kids that grew up listening to him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's so weird. Like, it's such a weird time. He's playing a tween heel is what he's doing. He's a tween heel right now is the way I look at it.
And the other thing that you need to think about is that the kids that grew up listening to him now are older than me, and I'm 40.
Yep.
So you're talking about 50-year-olds and
Absolutely.
6-year-olds who are now the same age as the people that he wanted to piss off. If you ask some 20-some-year-old jerk off who the fuck Johnny Rotten is, they're going to be like, I have no idea.
Right.
But they still know who the fuck Sid Vicious is, which shows you that bass players are goddamn important.
That's the moral of this whole conversation is that you get from anything we just talked about is bass players are important, damn it.
That's right.
That's how skinny you are.
Yeah. How heroin chic are you? How good are you at playing the bass? Those are your two priorities in this whole conversation.
So we'll lead into the next conversation. It's an Indigenous Peoples Day, which I find that being a person who's called a redneck on a regular basis, I have to remind my all these super hippy dippy friends of mine to stop calling it fucking Columbus Day.
Yes.
And I find it very ironic that I find myself stuck in that position. Like, wait, you guys call me a redneck, and I'm the guy that remembers to call it by its proper name.
No, you're the progressive redneck. That's what you are. To all of them, you're the progressive redneck. You're like, oh, that's that hippie redneck we have friend of ours. Like, he's almost leaning left in their head. Like,
what's the guy's name? Trey Chowder or something like that.
He's got a Carhartt on over his tie-dye shirt. That's
he's classy, but also still one of us.
I also heard a great argument as to why some people still call it Columbus Day up here. And those were from people who work in the service industry. And they said, well, it's the time that all these rich white people come up to our land, pillage our stores and our people, and treat our service people like they're indentured servants. I said, that's a pretty decent argument.
Wow.
I want to get your guys' thought on the Columbus Day versus Indigenous Peoples Day thing, and see if you find people regularly in your life still calling it Columbus Day.
GW, you can go first. Obviously, that's fine.
First off, I want to say, indigenous people, you lost. Get over it.
There's the hot take from GW.
I'm kidding.
He's hanging out with Johnny Rotten tonight.
Yeah. I think that we should leave it Columbus Day just because we can change the Columbus that we're talking about. We change it to like Columbus, Ohio Day. And be like, we could be like the shittiest part of Ohio.
Columbus, Ohio.
Just remember where we came from. We could be Columbus, Ohio.
Remember, everybody, you could be this. And have one person from Columbus with a tear rolling down their eye, going, I can't get out.
I was trying to think of the director who did the fucking kids movies with the last name Columbus. I can't remember who the fuck it was. Yeah. So it ruined the joke halfway through because I couldn't remember the guy's name.
What about you, Pierre? You find a lot of people still calling it Columbus Day around you?
Or? Oh my God. Yes. Where I live is a direct half and half of people who still live on the farms and haven't had a TV in 20 years. And then the college. So of the liberal college. So yes, it still astounds me that people call it Columbus Day when we now know what Columbus, was a sham essentially with what they've made the stories and the printed the legends about. The fact that we still have to explain that scares me. It scares me that there is all this wealth of information in the world now at our fingertips. Literally, my phone has more power than the computers that put people on the moon, like the original computers.
Crazy.
But yet someone can't look up the history of Columbus in 3 seconds to understand why we've changed it to Indigenous Peoples Day, because that's what makes more sense. Because there were people here before Columbus. They act like Columbus showed up and was just like, whoa, look at this big blank plot of land. No, we all know that's not true. And he didn't even discover here. Like, come on.
No, I landed in the Bahamas.
Yeah. Dude got lost, didn't ask for directions, and we're celebrating him. That's basically what this is. Like, that's all this is. And I mean, I guess that we could have it be a man day where that's because, the stereotype is guys don't ask for directions. So we just do it under that. Just have a picture of a dude throwing a map out a window of a boat. I'm like, no, we're just gonna go. And that's it. That's it. No, I've had to tell a lot of people it's not Columbus Day. Please don't call it that. It's not what it is. Did you have parades down your way or anything like that? Did they do anything for Columbus Day in your neck of the woods?
No, a bunch of girls in poof hats and and a little bean boot showed up looking for pumpkin spice coffee. That was about what happened.
Oh God. Oh God. Columbus Day, also known as Basic Chick Monday. That's what
I'm so glad I don't live in Woodstock.
I couldn't imagine.
It's a minor nightmare, is all I have to say. I'm glad that I live far enough away from it that
but you work in it, so you have to see it. Yeah.
Well, and that's the beauty is that I get to see all that shit on a regular basis. And then come on the show and talk about it with people who don't get to see it.
Yeah. Here up in my neck of the woods, like the college here is a totally different creature. It is a very well-off, well-to-do college. So it's a different demographic. They don't have the basic look, you know what I mean? Or what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's because none of those kids have married rich white men who have Range Rovers yet.
This is true. They're still waiting
for the opportunity.
They haven't gotten there yet. They've probably been segued off to someone already, like written off, but it hasn't happened yet officially. So they're still in college. But yeah, we don't see a lot of that in our neck of the woods. So I can only imagine how hard it is down that way for you guys. Like what you're.
And it's been rough because, as you guys might have seen, peak foliage ended last weekend.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of that. Like, I thought we were going to be here for peak foliage.
And God.
The people complaining, like, well, it's just a bummer. Like, we don't really have like a hotel room that we can cook in, but we have we just can't get reservations anywhere. And you're just like, yeah, it's fucking Indigenous Peoples Weekend in a town that's meant to like serve 2,000 and there's 8,000 people here. Of course you can't get reservations.
Right. Yeah, you might as well start calling the local farms and seeing if they'll put you up in a fucking manger. Like at that point, like maybe you'll be the next basic bitch Jesus. I don't know.
Sandwich at Cumberland Farms, man. That's
so. Does Rutland have Indigenous Peoples Day celebration?
We don't. Thank God.
I can only imagine what it would look like. That's all I have to say.
Well, it's bad enough now. We're dealing with the possible name change of our high school mascots.
Oh, really?
We're the Raiders, and we have an arrowhead for our mascot. And we originally were called the Red Raiders. And
that sounds like a weird problem with like a time of the month or something. I got my Red Raider this month. I feel like it's something my aunt would have called it, like around me, to not say period.
I feel like they could turn it back to the Red Raiders and just make their symbol like the sickle and the hammer.
Oh, it'd be amazing if they all came out with big furry hats and like the Russian outfits. That would be amazing. the Rutland Raiders. Could all the kids learn Russian accents and just say things like, if he dies, he dies. Like with anything they're doing. I didn't realize they were trying to change the name. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So I think if we did have like the counter protest would be, I mean, it would only be like 3 guys in the back of a pickup truck, but it would still be fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
We don't need no Indigenous People Day.
I picture they'd say igneous or something like that. I don't need none of them igneous peoples. Like, I don't understand.
Say my hardest part with it is like it doesn't have the same ring. Like we used to call it Columbus Day weekend, which is just
right.
very smooth. When you have to say Indigenous Peoples Day weekend, it's just a, you know,
it sounds like Lilith Fair. It sounds like it's gonna be like a festival with Sarah McLachlan and Bonnie Raitt, and like Maya Angelou's gonna do poetry, and there'll probably be a sad clown, and you know, the Humane Society will be there trying to get you to adopt dogs. That's just how it sounds. Like that Indigenous People Day weekend just sounds too much like a weird knockoff of Woodstock.
All the roadies of the Red Raiders.
Paul Revere and the Red Raiders.
Paul Revere and the Red Raiders. What are they changing it to, GW?
They haven't said anything yet.
Okay.
It's still a highly contested debate because people don't want to change the word Raiders because God forbid.
So they're gonna become the White Raiders, and that's gonna be
well, that'll be better. Yeah, wait till they get their new white outfits with their new cone hats they wear to the. Yeah.
Well, I think we become the Rutland Buccaneers because mofos be stealing shit.
Could you guys just were the teams any good at Rutland?
I don't know. I really do not give. I do not personally go around the high schools.
You don't?
No.
Can I before we keep going, can I just say I love that your green screen now and the way your lights are makes it look like you're in an AHA video. Like I'm waiting for Take On Me to start. Like the way the light is on the back of your arm. I'm just waiting for you to move in weird sketch motion. But
holy shit, I do have a shadow.
Yeah, it's funny as hell. Every time you move, it looks like that video from AHA where they were doing that. But
don't sing so on key. We'll get the live stream pulled.
yeah. Stop it! Don't try to actually. Warner Brothers gonna be like, fat men can't sing AHA. That's not allowed.
The first time in my life I've ever heard sung so on key.
I do like the fact that you're saying Rutland Raiders. I think they should change their last name to the Generals. Because if they're crappy, they could be like the Washington Generals that always lost to the Globetrotters. So they could just be the crap team that always loses to whatever school comes into place.
Well, yeah, but then you run the issue of another 10 years. We have a strong anti-military movement, and they want to change.
Yeah, that's true. And you can't go to POW.
Safe. We're gonna go with like the red pandas because nobody can look at a red panda and hate it. They're just too damn cute.
And even when they try to be angry and stand up on their hind legs to look big, they're just so adorable. You're like, I can't help it.
Look, it's smiling at me.
Yeah, it's angry, but I also just want to hug it, and it's so small. I just don't think it could do anything.
It looks so fluffy.
I know the perfect thing that we should change to the Rebels.
There we go.
That's a good idea.
Yeah,
because that's not already a problem in South Burlington.
I was gonna say you're gonna put the red flag with some blue and white stars over the center.
Cross. Make sure they all have Natty Light with them when they come to the field. Yeah, it'll be good. Real quick, funny story. A long time ago, we had a guy come in to get a tattoo, and he came in and he wanted to get a Confederate flag, and he wanted to spell rebellion wrong. Because he was like, well, because I'm a rebel. I think he used to know how to spell. And he spelled rebellion wrong with like a Y, and he added an extra A, and like he added like A's, and like it was spelled so weird. I was like, this is like rebellion. I don't even know it. Rebellion. That's right. I'm a rebel. That's why we spell it wrong when you're rebels. I'm like, no, don't hide your own education by trying to make it a arguing point. And no, we're not tattooing a misspelled word on you purposely. That's just not happening. So It just made me think of that when you said rebels. Anyway.
Okay, well, segue right into the next segment. I wanted to bring up the fact that we now have had a presidential and a vice presidential debate. And I don't know if you guys watched either of them or highlights. I watched them through. I actually posted a video where after I got done watching the first presidential debate, I laid back in bed with the beautiful assistant, and she was half asleep, and she rolled over and looked at me and said, "Are you done listening to those two fucking old idiots yell at each other?" That's why you were wifed up, Missy.
Yeah, exactly. You are keeper material right there.
Based. So I wanted to ask you guys how much, not that they could even really get worse, because the first one was a shit show with the president and Biden, and the second one was just boring between Pence and Kamala. But how much better do you think that show would have been if they agreed and let Joe Rogan be the moderator? Pierre, what do you think?
Oh my God, it would have been epic. First of all, it's a bad debate when the most popular thing coming out of it is a fly landing on someone. Like literally, that was like the biggest deal after that freaking debate was the fly. And that you are saying nothing meaningful, nothing that's connecting with the people. When people are like, yeah, but do you see the fucking fly on his head? And then they make memes about it, like 7,000 memes. Nothing about what either of them said. All you see is memes. Not one. I haven't seen one meme about what they said or like putting their quotes in like a fancy font, and saying and putting their name at the bottom. All I've seen is the fucking fly on his head, and that's all they cared about. And Biden and Trump sounded like grumpy old men. It was just like watching the movie Grumpy Old Men. Walter Matthau, yelling. It was just awful. But Joe Rogan would have been epic. I mean, I would have taken anyone over. What's his name? He was the most.
Chris Wallace was awful.
Chris Wallace, most limp dick moderator I've ever heard. Like, just like it was he was the kid that when mom and dad are fighting, just yells out things like, "What's your favorite Capri Sun? Mine's fruit punch," and and just let them yell at each other. Like that's what he was doing. Like he wasn't even there. He might as well have just gone home and let them talk. Joe Rogan would at least been like, "Shut the fuck up," and yelled at people. Like I would picture Joe Rogan just screaming at people, and I think it would have been epic.
G-Dubs, what do you think?
I first off, I weep for the future of this country. I regardless who wins, we all lose. I hope Republican, Democratic, left or right, I hope you realize that. Neither team gives a fuck about you.
Yep.
And I'm looking straight in the camera as I say this. You, the person who's watching right now, they do not give a fuck about you.
Take on me.
I figure it's like Ghost when the like shadow demons like come and eat people.
That's what it just looked like when you were yelling at the camera and the blackness was going over you. They don't care about you.
They don't care. No, I think Joe Rogan would have been the least entertaining to watch. But the only problem is they wouldn't let him get high before, and motherfucker would have to be high before doing that fucking debate.
Oh, he'd have to do DMT. Like not even just weed. Like let him have DMT like every 20 minutes to keep the high rolling. And let's give him some ayahuasca and let him just, try to get deep with both of them. That's I think where the key would be.
I would say that my takeaway from the vice presidential debate, the best moment was actually the moderator lady. And she straight up asked them, both these candidates are old as fuck. What are you guys going to do if they die? Was basically her question.
Yeah.
I was just like, God damn it. I'm glad somebody said that shit on national television because I've been thinking about that for the last 5 years.
It's one of the dumbest things that we have is the fact that there's this cap on the age that you can actually become president. Like you have to be at least 35. But then the problem is that people don't get in early enough and no one will vote for a young president. Like right now, the way that we're set up, everyone thinks old wise men. You're looking at two people who sound like they should be in the loony bin, like, literally just sitting taking pills and screaming about things in a corner.
And Obama was the youngest president. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty
I think
sure
he was.
he was historically the youngest.
Yeah, I think so.
Really?
Which-
That's what he was famous for?
Which is a friendly reminder that it's going to be a Hickory GW Foley on the 2024 ballot. So vote
Yes.
Libertarian, and we're going to nominate a bunch of comics to high-level positions in government and run that.
I put my hat in the ring.
That's right. G-Dubs will be like our general of defense or something. I don't know.
So
Colin's going to be the secretary just because I want to call him Secretary Doyle.
That sounds amazing, Secretary Doyle. Secretary Doyle.
So I just
Make him
looked,
dress up like one too.
and Theodore Roosevelt, at the age of 42, was the youngest president.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
So
fake news! Fake news! I want to
Fake
see a birth
news.
certificate. We could go that route.
apparently Trump's the oldest.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's the other benefit of this. This should be the last fucking boomer election. Is a possibility. So
That's true.
hopefully this shit show that's been 2020 politics will actually get some young interested people out into it and do some overhauling, because I know there is there's actually some good young candidates out there that are running this year, and we'll see if they can do it. So who knows. We're gonna move along though. We're going to talk about a story from a place I love to visit in the summer, Saco, Maine, where a gentleman has been charged with putting razor blades in pizza dough. And oh yeah, just before Halloween, this timing isn't perfect. So to clarify, it was in raw pizza dough, not in cooked into a pizza. It was in raw pizza dough that was for sale at Hannaford's. Not to drag them, because
Not a sponsor.
anybody in food service does great work. So keep your head down, guys. Someday somebody's going to appreciate essential workers, and if they don't, we'll get it together and shut this shit down. But Hannaford's has put out. They were making pizza dough, selling pizza dough from a company called Portland Pie, based in Portland, Maine, and they recalled all dough from August 1st to October 11th, both cheese and dough. It looks like nobody's been injured or gotten sick yet, but this is one of many stories that I've seen lately of people fucking with food for no reason.
Well,
Right? In dough, not even in a cooked pizza. Like, you're just gonna cut up your
Right, like
your
what?
hands, like making it into a pizza. It
I don't know
doesn't
what-
seem like
if you have the 2020 bingo card, if you had killer food in one corner, you probably have a bingo by now. Murder Hornets, COVID, killer food, pumpkin spice, death of everyone you loved, like celebrities and otherwise, and bad politicians. I don't understand. I'm trying to figure out what maniacal thing the person thought they were going to get out of doing it. Like, people are going to figure out pretty quick there's shit in their dough. It's not like if it was already in a cooked thing and then you put it in the oven, I could see where, you think you might get something out of that. But if it's in the dough they're going to make, it's pretty obvious. As soon as you pick it up and you feel something weird, you're going to be like, what's this? And stretch it out and find razor blades.
I want to know, are they actually razor blades? Like full, British steel razor blade? Or like bits and pieces, like he broke off like little chunks and shoved them in there.
Right.
That's a good question.
Because that would make more sense. Little chunks would make more sense because it'd be less likely to get caught right off. But I'm picturing him just taking like full Bic razors, like with the handles on them, and just shoving them in dough. Like, because if he's that stupid, I feel like that would be the one logical step.
I would imagine like razors that look like that would be
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, that's how we used to cut. We made blades in wrestling. We took razor blades and broke them to little pieces. They snap really easy. So you'd think it'd be easy just to break them and throw them all in there.
I'm glad you brought that term up because I was going to, and I'm like, no, I'm not the expert.
Yeah, when I used to gig in wrestling, we took razor blades and broke them and rope wrapped them in tape and put them inside our mouth and our tape wrists and all that stuff. It's not like that's a big secret anymore. Like, oh, I just exposed something on Hickory's show.
no, blading is a
feel
part
right
of the
coming
art.
from my mouth.
Yeah, I used to give lessons in the locker room to the young guys on how to make gig blades. That's what we called them. I used to teach guys. Like I'd sit in the back. I was like Uncle Pierre giving a lesson to the young folk, breaking razor blades and wrapping them with tape and showing how to make a point and all that crap. So yeah, I mean, it would be easy to do, but I just don't get what his maniacal thought was like. And they caught the guy, it said, right?
Yep.
Like,
They arrested him in Dover, New Hampshire.
Yeah. Oh, Dover. Oh, okay. If you knew Dover like I knew Dover, you'd go hang out in Rutland. Just saying. But yeah, I the only good thing that I remember coming from Dover is sadness. And that was the plus side. But I've wrestled there a few times. That's all.
Well, from what I remember reading from the article is he actually used to work for the company that was doing the dough. So I'm wondering if it was a revenge thing where it's like, oh, you fired me. Now I'm going to cut people's.
This is what makes me worry now, though, because this goes back to the old days when they said that Tylenol was poisoned, and all that crap. And they put all these extra safety precautions that are really a bunch of BS. I'm waiting now for child safety locks on dough and on pizza dough, weird shit like that, safety precautions. Because I remember when that happened back in the 80s when the Tylenol got poisoned, one bottle got poisoned or something crazy. Yep. And everybody lost their damn minds. Shut down, no more drugs. They're all poisoned. Everybody, there's maniacal people out there. It's I'm just worried that now that's going to be a thing. We can't sell pizza dough anymore because crazy people are putting razor blades in them. One crazy person did. Just like there's never been an actual Halloween candy with razor blades, accounted for testimonial of it really happening. That's one of those legends that's out there.
And I think it's a reminder before Halloween that nobody's giving edibles to your children because that shit's way too expensive.
Yeah, F you. I make edibles for myself, and I know how much it costs in the weed that I use to make my edibles. I ain't giving no kid a brownie that I made that's got $30 worth of weed in it.
Oh no, I'm reluctant to give them to my friends when they ask if they can have one.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna give one to some asshole I don't like. Fuck him, he can get Jolly Ranchers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, here's your Snickers. You are not getting shit.
I also wanted to relate that to a story that I saw, and I hadn't pulled it up, and I should have before the show. But in the past couple weeks, there was a story that came from out west where there was a small epidemic. Well, maybe not an epidemic, but a few different cornfields where people were actually strapping metal bits to corn that was going to be harvested to feed the cows. And luckily they caught it, but there was $5 million worth of corn in silos that ended up having to be wasted because some assholes went into a field and tied metal to corn so that it would get ground up in the corn feed maker to the cattle, which would have killed, I don't know, thousands and thousands of head of cattle before they were ready, which is a complete waste. Because don't get me wrong, Hickory loves him fucking beef.
Absolutely.
But unmercilessly knowing that you were attempting to kill cows for no benefit to anybody. And not to mention farmers who've been having a hard time this year due to labor and COVID. It really just bums me out that people are putting essential workers like that at risk.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's insane. I hadn't heard about that.
Yeah, you should look it up
dirty
later.
Fucking vegan.
It's what?
Yeah.
It was probably some dirty fucking vegan.
I agree. Fuck those people.
Yeah, it was probably something like that. And that's how That's a tying to the show right there. Yeah. Yeah. F you, vegans. That's how you get your audience spread out.
That's right. The Drunken Under Quarantine show has not taken many official political stances, but now we have two. First off, fuck vegans. And secondly, fuck you, Prohibition Party. We don't want none of your bullshit up in here.
Amen.
That's right. We don't care if you're left, right, anarchist, Satanist, whatever. But fucking you try to take away my alcohol, motherfucker, you'll start the Civil War.
Just like the Proud Boys said.
Be out there stabbing motherfuckers with my wand. I don't care. Before we go, anybody got anything they want to get off their chest?
Well, all right. Oh, yeah.
Oh God, I was waiting for that part.
I was gonna shave my chest.
I got dollars. I got dollars.
Take you right back to the old days.
Yeah. Yes. How we used to make money.
No. Dubs, anything you want to get out there before we plug ourselves? And
so yeah, actually, it just reminded me. Someone noticed me from a comedy show this past weekend, and then they're like, "Yeah, we should do a show where you tell jokes and we shove dollar bills in your G-string." And I was like, I'm oddly fine with that. I have no problem with this whatsoever. Like, I know she was trying to be funny, but I'm like, Daddy needs money. Daddy,
yeah, exactly. I got bills.
Like, yeah. Pierre and I will come down and stand and work security for you. It'll be great.
Yeah. No, fuck that, guys. You can wear a G-string also. And
shit, I'll sell my calendar and I will show up in a G-string.
Yeah.
Great. Well, Vinny DJ it. It's going to be a...
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, it'll be a hoot nanny.
Yeah, we'll make it a whole thing. Chunkendales, the show. That's all it is. Chunkendales, the show.
Will they take off more than just a mask?
Yeah, only one way to find out. A whole lot of bacon and sweat happening. That's all.
I just feel bad for the guy who's going to have to wipe out the plexiglass box between each performer.
Worst porno name ever. Plexiglass box.
Oh God.
Yeah, that will bring us right to an end. Plugging socials. Pierre, where can we find you online, sir?
You can find us. Check out Pierre the Beast on Facebook. Just look up Pierre the Beast Vachon on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram at Pierre the Beast. Check out BigGuysEntertainment.com. We have our podcast, Big Guys Banter, with Vinny and myself. We have Big Guys Gaming on YouTube. We have Big Guys Entertainment on YouTube. We're adding more content there. Check out Vermont Comedy Outlaws. I'm going to be updating that, and also putting a YouTube channel out for Vermont Comedy Outlaws very, very soon. Now that I have tech here that actually works. So, so working on some new stuff. But yeah, check me out. You can find me all over there. Facebook, Instagram, Pierre the Beast, or Pierre the Beast Vachon, whichever one you need to look up. You'll find me. I'm easy to spot. I'm the big bald guy.
You'll see him.
Yeah, you will.
Dubs?
Foley Kills, Twitter, Instagram, Parlor. Find me on GW Foley on Facebook. I love you all. Kisses. Stay lovely.
And you can find me at Hickory TDAU on Facebook, Instagram, Parlor, and Hickory the Drunk and Underwhelming on YouTube. Just search Hickory the Drunk, and I should be the only one that comes up. But you might find some other interesting videos too, putting those words together. And next week, episode 26 would be that we've been doing this shit for half a year and we haven't had to change the name of the Drunken Under Quarantine show yet. Which I don't know if I'm happy about or I'm fucking very sad about. But next week, big special. We got lots of guests. Pierre will be back. I don't want to give too much away, but there will be a full panel next week.
It will be too sweet. It will be too sweet.
Be too
sweet.
Anyways,
right.
Thank you everybody for showing up and hanging out with us. I'm Edgar the Drunken Underwhelming, signing off for both Pierre and G Dubs. And remember, people, stay safe, Stay drunk, stay underwhelming, but most importantly, remember to stay fucking sane.